Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. I have a brand new video, and today I'm going to be ranking NBA teams on a tier list instead of NHL teams. Now, there's two less teams in the NBA than there's in the NHL, so I'm going to be ranking them all. Like I did for the NHL ranking, I'll just pick out random teams, and I'll put them on the tier list. S, A, B, C, D, and F. And this is going to be based on how these teams ended this season and how I expect them to perform in the next season. So, let's start it off right away. Let's start off with the Golden State Warriors. I think they're a C-tier team. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I'd be surprised if they did. I think they're in a weird kind of position now. I mean, Steph Curry is not, Steph Curry of 2017, 2018, even 2019. He's getting much older. 2016 as well. He's getting much older. They don't really have that centerpiece that they kind of had when they had KD and Curry, and they had Draymond Green, who was kind of performing a bit better before. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I think it'll be an interesting couple next few years for the Golden State Warriors, but yeah, I don't have high hopes for them. Charlotte Hornets, and I think this is a very interesting one. I will have to put Charlotte probably in B tier, which means that I think they'll make the playoffs, but I think they'll be eliminated pretty quickly. And I'm not saying play-ins. I think they'll make the playoffs. So I think they'll be like a 7 seed or something, and they'll make the playoffs because they beat whatever the 8 seed is. So I have confidence in them. I think they'll make the playoffs. I don't have confidence in them making it far, though, just based on what they have right now. They don't have those great pieces that are necessary to make a deep playoff run. Next up, we'll go with the Pistons. I think Pistons are frauds. However, I think they'll make the playoffs. I don't think they'll make it far, though. I don't think they'll be first. I actually think it's very unlikely they even get in the top 3, to be honest, for next year. I knew they were frauds. I mean, I knew they'd get fraud checked, so I'm not really surprised there. The Brooklyn Nets are F tier, right here. I don't even know what to say about them. I mean, they're just an awful franchise right now. I don't even know who's actually a Brooklyn Nets fan, if I'm going to be honest with you. After we saw those Knicks fans, it really makes you wonder, are people from Brooklyn even cheering for the Nets? And the answer to that is probably not. Next up, we have we'll go with the Bucks. I think they're an F-tier team, too. Giannis is going to get traded at some point. It's going to happen. I mean, it's not if he's going to get traded, it's when. So we'll see what happens there, but they really have nobody else other than that. They have literally nobody else. So they're going to be awful. They might even get the first overall pick, to be honest with you, in the next season because of how bad they'll be. Where are the Utah Jazz? Where are they at? Yeah, I'm going to put them at F tier as well. They suck. They're not going to improve, and I don't see them going anywhere far. Sacramento Kings are also in the same category. They just are not a good team. I mean, I'm sorry, but they're just not a good team at all. And, yeah, they will make it. They will not make it to the playoffs. Not even be close to it. They'll probably be at the bottom again. We'll go with the Bulls. I think, unfortunately, they're also an F-tier team. As much as I like the Bulls historically because of Jordan, I just don't think they'll be good, unfortunately. Yeah, they just don't have anybody either. We'll go with the Grizzlies as well. I'm trying to get all the F-tier ones. The Grizzlies suck. I mean, they're not good. I can't name you a single player on that team other than Ja Morant. So, well, same for the Bulls, honestly. I can't name you anybody here. I can't name anybody on the Kings and Utah, and not even the Nets. The only player I can name on the Bucks is Giannis. The Pacers. I actually think the Pacers will be a good team. I think they'll be a good team next year. I think when Halliburton comes back, they'll hopefully be back to where they were a few years ago when they made it to the finals to Game 7. Siakam is still on the team. I think they're a really good team. I think they have some good players. I don't see them make it to the finals again. However, I would not be surprised if they made a deep run. And by deep run, I mean like third round. I don't mean the finals. But yeah, I think they'll be a pretty good team. I think they'll be probably in the 5 to 6 range, maybe even 4. In the Eastern Conference standings because they were like 14th or something this year, which, I mean, that's pretty bad. Cleveland Cavaliers, they're frauds. They're frauds. And look, I mean, people may not agree with this, but look, I'm a Raptors fan. Obviously, I have sort of a bias because we lost to them when I don't think we should have, to be honest with you, because I think there were some very questionable moments in that series. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any denying the fact that Cleveland is a fraudulent team. James Harden just got arrested, actually, so I don't know what's going on with that, but they're not a good team. They're really not a good team. I was watching those games, and they just did not have anything special. They got swept by the Knicks, even though they somehow made it to the conference finals. I don't know how that happened. To be quite honest with you, I'm surprised they did. But it's also because they beat the Pistons, who are also frauds. So when you have two frauds competing, one is more fraudy, and in my opinion, that team is the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think they're one of the biggest frauds in the entire NBA, and I can't wait to see their downfall next year. Miami Heat, yeah, they're not going to be good. They're probably going to be a D tier as well. They don't really have anybody that's that good on that team. I mean, they're not going to be good, to be quite honest with you. Who can we go next? We'll go with the New Orleans Pelicans. And I don't know what's going on with the Pelicans, man. They're such a weird team because they've actually never really been good. Yeah, they're going F tier. They're just a horrible franchise in terms of their players, in terms of their winning attitude, which is non-existent. They just don't have an ability to win, and yeah, it really shows. I mean, they're not a good team. They've been bad for the last pretty much I want to say 7-8 seasons that I've been watching them, and they haven't made any improvements. It seems like they just keep getting worse every year somehow. We'll go with the Sixers. I mean, the Sixers are a good team on paper, but I don't think they're great. I think they're like Golden State. They have a shelf life, and that shelf life is starting to show now. They still have Embiid, surprisingly, but every year we hear, Embiid might get traded. It never happens, but maybe this year it will happen. Who knows? I mean, there's always some sort of big trade that happens every year in the NBA. Most years. 2 years ago was the Doncic trade. That was a huge one. But yeah, I mean, they're not a great team, as it is. I mean, they weren't great this year, and they're not going to be good. It's only going to be downhill from now for them. Who can we have next? Yeah, also they traded Jared McCain. That's the other thing I want to mention. I don't know what that trade was, to be honest with you. That was a very weird trade, but it just does not help them in any way, shape, or form. Celtics are a very good team. They're a very good team. You can never rule out the Celtics. I don't really know what happened this year. They did happen to run to the Knicks. That might just be it. But they're a team you can never rule out. They always make it to the playoffs every single year, and they tend to make it decently far in most years. Again, they just ran into the Knicks, and the Knicks, we'll get them. I'll just put them right now. They're S tier. The Knicks are the best team in the NBA. There's literally no contesting this. I mean, I tried to convince myself that the Knicks weren't really that dominant, especially when I saw what Wemby did to OKC. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if the Knicks actually have it. Jalen Brunson's 6'1", Wemby's 7'4". Is he going to be able to get those shots up, or is he just going to get blocked in every shot? Obviously, I wasn't actually expecting him to get blocked in every shot, but their system, their chemistry, their team overall, they just seem to be firing at all cylinders, right? They have Anunoby, one of my favorite Raptors players. They have Bridges, Cat, Brunson. They have Robinson at center. They're just a really good team, a really well-run franchise. The fan base, look, man, I mean, it was questionable some of the things they did to the Spurs fans in some of those clips that I saw, but definitely you can't deny that they're a very passionate fan base and really a well-deserved championship, honestly, after 53 years. So got to give them credit there. They're going to be dominant for the next couple of years. I mean, they don't seem to be showing any signs of slowing down. Even as the playoffs progress, it just seemed like they got better and better somehow, even though they ended up losing two against the Spurs. Who else do we have that's pretty good? I mean, OKC is always good. Unfortunately, I have to put them in S tier, and I hate OKC. I'm Canadian, but I hate Shea. I just think he's a free throw merchant. I think he's everything that's wrong with the NBA. The NBA used to be very physical and very aggressive, and now it's, free throw merchants like Shea who run the league, which is very unfortunate. But they're a good team. They're a good team. They'll be at the top again. And same as the Spurs, they'll be at the top. And I only see the Spurs getting better and better every year. I mean, this year I didn't really expect them to make it to the finals. I don't think many people did. But they did beat the OKC Thunder in 7, which was obviously honestly kind of unexpected. Nobody really expected that. When they forced the Game 7, I was like, OKC will probably win it. It's in OKC. They've been here, they've done that. So I expect them to win, but they didn't. So I have to give the Spurs some credit there. I think they're going to be a juggernaut for the next couple of years. And Wemby's only 22 years old. Just keep that in mind. He's only 22, and he did what he did this playoffs. And this whole year, I should say, at the age of 22, which is insane. Denver Nuggets. I have a weird... I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the Denver Nuggets. I think they're an A tier. You can never count them out, obviously. But I also want to put them at B tier. I kind of want to put them at B tier because I don't actually think that they have what it takes to win another championship. Right? I feel like the Denver Nuggets, they have Jokic, they have Murray. I mean, those two, that's really all you need, to be quite honest with you, when it comes to actually having a good team. Like, those two players basically can make or break a team. But I don't know if they actually will be able to beat a team like the Spurs, to make it to the finals, or the OKC. And then if they do make it to the finals, will they be able to beat a team like the Knicks or the Celtics? I don't think so. Right? So I'll put them at B tier. I expect them to make the playoffs. I don't expect them to go far, though. Timberwolves. Same thing. I'll put them at B tier. I expect them to make the playoffs. Don't expect them to make it that far. They really only have one good player, and that's Ant. And they're not, they weren't that great this season, or this playoffs, I mean. They were much better last playoffs when they made it to the conference finals against OKC, but that might have been a fluke. Who knows? Phoenix Suns, they're in shambles. They're a disaster of a team. I mean, they're not going to be good, unfortunately. And it sucks because I actually do like the Phoenix Suns. I actually don't mind them. They're one of the teams I would like to see win a championship at some point. And I kind of wish they did beat the Bucks that year, but they didn't. So we'll see what happens to them, but they're going to be in an interesting position for the next couple of years. Who do we have next? We could put the Rockets. I want to put the Rockets at A. I'll put them at A. I think the Rockets will be very good. And, they have KD. They have Van Vliet, I think, still. They have some other good players, too. I mean, they're a really good team. Houston. They were second, actually, last year. So, I mean, a bit of a fall off, some might say, but I think they're still a very good team. I could never really count them out. They had the same record, I think, this year that they did last year. It just so happened that the other teams just ended up getting better, the teams that were in front of them, and they were fifth. So they're fifth place with the exact same record, but they were second the year before. So, the Lakers, Nuggets, and I think the Spurs were ahead of them, and obviously OKC. So you can't really say that they got worse this year because they really didn't. It's just that the teams above them got better. However, I think the Rockets will get better, and I have confidence in them. I think they'll be pretty good. Lakers, with Doncic at his full capacity, I want to say they're A tier, but I'm going to put it at B tier because the Lakers just have a tendency to choke. I also am not a fan of LeBron personally, and I don't think he's that good. He always switches teams. And, now he just so happens to be on the Lakers, and as he has for the last couple of years. But who knows? Maybe he'll switch teams again. I don't know. And his son Bronny is on the team, but he just never plays because he's not good. So I don't know what will happen with the Lakers. I don't think they're a good team. I think they'll make the playoffs like they always do. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't think they'll make it far, though. Who do we have next? We'll put the Trailblazers. I think they're C tier. They're not great. They're not terrible. I wouldn't be surprised if they made the playoffs, but I don't expect them to. You know what I mean? So that's sort of the category these teams are in. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they made the playoffs, but I don't expect them to. Who do we have next? The Mavericks. Yeah, unfortunately, I want to put them at D tier. I don't have high expectations for them. I don't think you can go from a 26-56 season to, making the playoffs. But then again, the Spurs were pretty bad too last year, and then they made the finals this year. But they also had Wemby, so that's the difference. Is Wemby better than Cooper Flag? The answer to that is yeah. So yeah, I don't think the Mavericks will go far. Washington Wizards, they're just I mean, they're in shambles. They're a disaster of a team. I don't know how else to put it. They're just a disaster. And it's weird because they actually have happened to had some good players. Uh, and I don't know what happened. I don't know what's happening with them. They're a weird team. They're going to be awful. Who do we have next? We'll do the Atlanta Hawks. And look, the thing with the Hawks is, I'll put them at B tier. I think they'll make the playoffs. By the way, I forgot to mention, one of my favorite players, Dylan Brooks, is on the Phoenix Suns. Forgot to mention that. Maybe a bump up just because of that. Actually, no, I can't do that. I got to be fair. Atlanta Hawks, they'll make the playoffs. Don't expect them to go far. Second round exit is possible. I mean, they did give the Knicks a run for their money. They're basically the Knicks' hardest opponent in the playoffs, which is kind of saying something. But then again, it's Atlanta. So, I mean, what do we expect, right? What do we expect? Clippers. And this is where it gets interesting because I actually hate the Clippers because Kawhi went there. But I think they'll suck. I don't think they'll be good. I think they'll actually be worse this year than they will in previous years. Their window has closed before it even opened. You know what I mean? So they're not going to be good. The Magic. You know what, man? I've been seeing a lot of people say the Magic will end up dominating in the next couple of years. And look, they almost beat the Pistons in the first round. So, got to give them credit there. I actually see them making the playoffs. I think they'll be good. I actually think they will probably make it to second round this year. But then again, I don't expect them to go to the finals or anything. But I think they'll make the playoffs. And I am pretty happy for them. I actually don't mind the Magic. I don't, have anything against them. So, I think they'll keep getting better every year, and yeah, it's pretty fun to watch. How many teams do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And lastly, we have my team, the Toronto Raptors. Oh, the Raptors are a very interesting team. I would put them at B, and I may be biased when I put them where I will put them. I think they're going to be an A-tier team. I think there's something about the Raptors. Right, there's something that we saw this playoffs when they almost beat the Cavs, when they should have, to be honest with you. They should have beat the Cavs. They made the playoffs the first time in a couple of years, and they seemed ready. They seemed like they were able to rise to the occasion. They did pretty good. They forced it to 7, and they almost won. They didn't almost win in Game 7, but that's another story. I think they're a really good team. I think they'll keep getting better. We have to make a big trade. That's the only thing I'll say. We need a blockbuster trade. We need one major piece. We need like a Kawhi-esque player. Now, I don't know if that'll happen, right? I don't know if that'll happen. I don't mind having like a Giannis or something, trading for like a Giannis or I don't know who else is available. I wouldn't even mind like a Dylan Brooks kind of player. I actually would love Dylan Brooks. He's also Canadian. So we'll see what happens with the Raptors. But I have a lot of confidence in them this next upcoming year. Now, these teams, I put them up here because I really think they'll be like top 3, top 4 kind of teams, right? Thunder, Spurs, and Rockets, Knicks, Celtics, Raptors. I really do think the Raptors are better than the Pistons. I think we're better than the Pacers. I think we're better than the Magic, obviously, the Hornets, and the Hawks. So it really leaves a lot of room for us. And look, I don't expect us to be first. I don't expect us to be second even. We'll be third. I can see that happening. And I think this team will only keep getting better. Second round is sort of the expectation for this upcoming year. And I'm excited to see what happens with this team. But yeah, this is my ultimate ranking of NBA teams on a tier list. And let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I think this is a very... I don't watch the NBA as much as I watch the NHL and other sports. But, I tried to do this the best I could. Let me know if you guys agree with this or disagree with this. This is also, there's some teams like the Cavaliers who are really good this year, but I don't think will be good next year, right? Because I think they're frauds. And, there's some teams like that. So I want to hear what you guys think about that. And what do you guys think about these top teams in the S and A tier? And do you think they'll actually be as good as I'm saying they will be? If you are new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to ring that notification bell. And I want to thank y'all for watching the video, and I will see y'all